Governor, yesterday Congressman James Florio suggested that you are hiding from the state's problems. Do you feel this statement is accurate?
Oh, no, I don't think that's accurate at all. Well, you know, it's a political season, and so you'll get a lot of political comment. But I think we've taken the state's problems and addressed them head on, and I think we're a better state because of it. We've tried to address problems that everybody knew existed for a long time, whether environmental protection, and we're now doing better than any other state in cleaning up our solid waste, whether it be the neglect of years in highways and higher education. We're addressing both those problems now for the first time and addressing them responsibly. In education, the head of the National Commissioner of Education said that New Jersey is now, if we implement the kind of program that we've now ready to implement, he said New Jersey will have the best schools in the entire nation. So I think we're addressing these problems and trying to make New Jersey number one in any number of areas. So I think we're moving pretty well as a state, and I think people know that.
Bill?
Okay, how will the seatbelt law affect New Jersey insurance rates?
Well, hopefully, and I say hopefully because, you know, we've put in a lot of laws to improve auto safety, the whole drunk driving campaign, and each time we do one of those things, the insurance companies say, well, that'll make New Jersey a safer state, and maybe the insurance rates will go down. Mine haven't gone down. I don't know if that's yours, but I would like to see, I would hope, because it's logical. It's logical if that they estimate that if people buckle up, we'll save 200 lives a year. Now, if we save 200 lives a year, that's a lot, and that should help with the insurance rate. We're already one of the safest states in the nation. There are a number of ways, by the way, which now we can decrease insurance rates. One is that all of us don't have to have the Cadillac of insurance policies. We don't need every single option that's offered. And I found in my own policy, by axing out some of those options I didn't need, I saved myself over $100. I think other people could do that too. Second is there are a couple of bills in the legislature. The most important one would reduce legal costs that go into our insurance policy by putting on something called a verbal threshold like they have in the state of Michigan. If the legislature passes that bill, it will lower our insurance costs.
Statistics indicate that an increasing number of New Jersey students are leaving their home state to attend college. What do you feel is the major reason for this, and what is being done to prevent this?
Well, it's historic, unfortunately. New Jersey, for a number of years, almost through our entire history, to be honest, didn't do the job it should in higher education. We didn't put enough of our own state resources. We didn't think it was valuable enough. We put our dollars into other things. And when I came into office the last 3 or 4 years before I came, higher education had been right in the bottom. You had 20 government departments. You looked at funding, and higher education was right down at the bottom. Well, I think that was false economy. I think that hurt the state. So what we've done is reversed that. Even in the middle of the recession, when I was cutting back everybody, I increased funds for higher education. Now we've got not only more funds for higher education, but we've got the whole bond issue, which the public passed last year. We've got $80 million to make centers of excellence in this state, places that I think the rest of the country is going to envy very, very much. We're putting more and more dollars and more time into creating the kind of system of higher education that I think our state has a right to, and the kind of thing we'll be proud of, not just so we can give our students in the state the best kind of education, but because when you create excellent higher education, you also create jobs. We know that. It's happened in Boston in 128, it happened in North Carolina around Research Triangle, it happened in Silicon Valley. If you put money into higher education, you create prosperity and jobs around higher education. So any number of reasons we're doing it. Secondly, we're trying to let students know the opportunities that exist here. People who have an image of higher education in the state that goes back 10, 15 years don't recognize that the quality of our schools and the kind of opportunities there are. So at the same time, we're telling students about it and even offering incentives. You know, we've got a Garden State Scholarship program now where people can get scholarships up to $1,000 but for going to school in New Jersey. So we're trying to use all these avenues, and we hope that the so-called brain drain will start to reverse very shortly.
All right, give us your opinion on the teacher's right to search students.
I was a supporter of that decision. And I recognize that some people feel that it's a violation of students' rights, and I understand that concern. but it's got to be reasonable under the court decision. And well, reasonable may be difficult to define. It's an important word. I worry, for instance, about the rights of my children, not the right to object to being searched, but what I worry about is what happens if there is some people in the school who are drug dealers? What happens if there's somebody who's bringing weapons? What happens when there is somebody who could really endanger? I mean, really could end up with somebody dealing in drugs or somebody with weapons in school? I want my children protected from that. And to me, the right for, under reasonable grounds, and that's what the court, under reasonable grounds, to make sure that that weapon isn't there, or make sure that one bad apple isn't infecting the whole school. I think that's fair, and I feel better about having my children in school because of that decision.
Doesn't that rule affect the like the Declaration of Independence states that the right of privacy should be protected?
Well, you know, we all have our rights limited in one way or another. I mean, there are certain things you and I cannot do. We just, and a lot of these questions are difficult. We have a seatbelt law in the state of New Jersey. I mean, a lot of people feel that people shouldn't be telling you to buckle up, and yet we know it's going to save some lives if they do. We have a number of other laws that affect people's right to drink, that affect people's right to do any number of things because we feel it's in the overall interest of society to have those rights circumscribed. This is one of those occasions.
Mm-hmm. Bill?
Okay, what is currently being done to help the homeless and poverty-stricken in New Jersey?
Well, we have a number of things being done. I've recommended the second year in a row, based on the fact that we have a budget surplus, some of those monies should be used, I think, to help our most needy citizens. So I'm recommending for the second year in a row, for instance, that aid to dependent children be raised so that these people have some money so they don't become homeless to begin with. In addition, our philosophy in the homeless is to, first of all, to help those institutions that are already out there working. So we're taking some of the shelters run by people like the Salvation Army and Catholic Charities, welfare agencies, that have certain code violations and would have to shut down and certainly couldn't expand. And we're pumping some state funds into them so that those good people in the private sector can continue to do the kind of good work and expand the works they're doing. We're helping other groups to open shelters. We're also working on a rent stabilization program where, not stabilization is probably the wrong word, but a rent supplement, where if somebody, because they're suddenly out of work and they have a couple of months problem, will not be thrown out of an apartment. If we can get them over that hump, sometimes then they can get a job again and they can continue. We're trying to stop them by this rent supplement from being thrown out into the cold. These are the ways in which we're working.
Tom?
Living by the shore, our town's been very concerned about the growing uncleanliness of the ocean, and I was wondering, are you doing anything to prevent the large amount of ocean dumpage that is being increased year after year from New York City?
Boy, I'm trying, but it's a very difficult problem because we're under, New York City's under court order. We cannot sue them because they're under a court schedule. That court schedule runs out in about a year and a half. And as soon as it runs out, believe me, I believe the state of New Jersey is going to be in court saying New York City shouldn't construct anything, until they properly treat their sewage. The smallest town in New Jersey has a sewage ban put on it if it's discharging it properly. And that's the greatest city in the world. And it's sitting there, untreated sewage still coming into the river and coming down along our beaches. Because they're under a court direction already, you can't take them to court at the present time. But the clock is ticking. I talked to Mayor Koch about this. He assures me that before that runs out, New York will have a sewerage plant in place. I told him that if he does, if you don't, we'll sue you. And he says, I understand that. And but he says it's going to be ready. So that's the way we're working on it right now. It is frustrating, though, and I recognize we're going to have to go through at least one more, if not two more summers, before that New York sewage treatment plant is in place and they stop putting those things into the places that we swim.
Okay, Governor, our clock is ticking also, and it's ticked all the way down to the end. So let us take a moment here to thank Tom Davis and Bill Borden from Point Pleasant Borough High School. Governor, thank you for joining us.
Of course.